All right, gang. I would tell you it's 5:30 in the morning, but I'd be lying. It's not even 5:30 yet. Coach is up getting you out the news from last night and a big recap. You know, Coach has to work here in like an hour, so I had to get up even earlier to get the video out to you. So keep that in mind the next time some idiot threatens to half try, right? So while other people are half trying, Coach is going double and triple time all the fucking time. This is not the big surprise video. Coach was recording that video, had the special guest, and his stupid AirPods died. I don't know who the hell uses that shit, but whatever. Not gonna give them a hard time, right? They're helping the channel, so we're gonna give it a go again in a day or two. So sorry for the delay there. Everything's all set to go. We just need the cooperation. You know how tough it is to get good help, right? But anyways, Coach is gonna start with like non-sport stuff. Then Coach is gonna tell you about the UFL season that just kicked off, and we're gonna wrap up with the second half of the Sweet 16, and Coach will spit a rap that Coach wrote for you. So first, Coach was just browsing around Google, and you know how Quora like always pops up, even though nobody thinks this shit's like remote. Like clearly Quora was like a very early version of like ChatGPT, right? Like it was a really shitty AI that somehow still exists, right? So Coach just saw one of the top results on Quora, like as Coach was scrolling Google, was some nonsense about like, does anybody believe the Earth is a cube? No. This person, I love people that are, no, absolutely not. Nobody believes that. No. If the world was anything other than a sphere, we would be acutely aware of it. Imagine you were flying an F-18 at Mach 3, very low, parallel to the horizon of a cubed world. Gravity is pushing you down at more or less 1g, not going to factor in the forward momentum. Now let's say you fly towards the edge of the cube and pass the ledge. Now I assume people living on that ledge and therefore experience 1g as well. So the second you pass the edge of the Earth, you're now instantly traveling perpendicular to the ground into gravity. You are now climbing and are probably dead from the instantly infinite g forces, going from 0 to Mach 10. So Coach would have already slapped the shit out of this guy and gone, what the fuck are you talking about? If you live in a cube, how are you going off the edge? You're inside the cube, you stupid fuck. You don't live on a cube. What the fuck is the point of a cube if you live on it? They just have to reinforce their spinning globe bullshit on every other fucking theory ever, right? So it's like, going from 0 to Mach 3 and having gravity rotate against you 90 degrees in a few milliseconds, this isn't an exact example of the physics, right? It's just some bullshit I'm pulling out of my ass, right? So here's the fucking sphere bot, right? Here's the Glober, right? So it's like some sort of amalgamation of Nick Cage and Thanos, right? So it's Nigerian Prince, right? Looking for $6.99. So there's a 666 right there. To gain access to my here to now inaccessible fortune for a small donation, blah, blah, right? So you get it. Whose idea was it to build the Titanic? Big iceberg in the Illuminati. Hey, isn't it crazy? You know, so he's going straight from the sphere to, oh, now I'm into icebergs and the Titanic, right? Like, of course, like, it's like he's gonna mock it, but he's not gonna say like, oh yeah, it's a big stupid hoax. Like, oh yeah, no, it's a big iceberg sank the Titanic, right? When obviously icebergs aren't fucking real. How does that make any sense? You're an idiot if you believe in icebergs. That's why every single fake conspiracy they give you is like, oh, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Yeah, you never thought about that? I'm sure you did, because you're not stupid. What is the movie where a single guy convinces aliens in the ocean not to destroy humanity? The Sphere. Oh wow, crazy popped up for that one. Right? Okay, so let's see. Is there a solid rock evidence? Is there a solid rock evidence? Yeah, there's 10 of them. There's 10 solid rock evidences. That reptilians exist? Go to a pet store. Ask to see the geckos or chameleons. You gave seen evidence of reptilians existing. Oh, I'm sorry, you big stupid piece of shit. Those are reptiles. I thought you went to elementary school since you're Mr. fucking astrophysicist, schooling everyone on every square inch of the globe. Okay? How would it affect the amount of sunlight if the Earth was tilted at a 45-degree angle? Well, the Earth is a globe, so tilting is really just rolling or rotating at 45 degrees. It wouldn't affect how much sunlight hit the Earth at all. It would just change how it affects you. All right, so that's not a stupid one they did. Can somebody please show me the Earth's curvature without a fisheye lens? Hate to break it to you, but your eye itself has a curved lens. Don't trust your lying eyes, kid. I guess that makes it impossible for humans to see straight lines. You can't even see a straight line, you drunk fuck. That's why you failed a DUI test, some field sobriety test without a single drop of alcohol in your system, right? And all things appear curved. Except they don't. Lenses are designed to gather and focus information, not to distort it. Yeah, so don't go into a fun house, because every one of those mirrors, it's just designed to what is it? To gather and focus information, not distort it. So funhouse mirrors, those aren't designed to decide. I know it's not necessarily a lens. Like, come on, obviously a lens would do the same thing. Like, I look through a lens to see a kaleidoscope. Is that gathering and focusing information for me, or is it distorting shit? All right, so let's see. Lens is not a feasible reason to question the veracity of images. Cameras aren't single lens devices like a magnifying glass. Blah, blah, blah. So basically, they always want to put the burden of proof, like, on everybody else, right? So, here we go. This one's good. Is the earth flat? I need someone to give me rock hard evidence against, once again, rock hard, against individuals who believe the earth is flat so I can get them off my back. It would be easier and a far better situation for yourself personally if you just get new friends and leave them to their ignorance. You will never convince them of something they've chosen to believe over all the evidence to the contrary. It's like trying to prove that 1 + 1 = 2 and not 11. Okay, so that's your tell right there. People who believe the earth is flat or just not a globe, right? I'm pretty sure there's not really flat earthers. There's just anti-globers and globers, right? So anti-globers, right? Like, we're expected to know, like, basically figure out everything that nobody could possibly know. Like we say, you can't know where you are because you're there, right? You can't, like, look at yourself from the third perspective, like a billion miles out in space or whatever the fuck they're trying to tell you, right? Like, it's completely garbage. They sell you paintings and cartoons, right, to try to brainwash you and scare you into thinking that you're in some perfect magical place. It's the only place in the world or in the universe that's warm and you can breathe and you won't explode violently for no, you know what I mean? Like, all this corny stuff, when we could be way dumber. Globers could have 1% of the facts, IQ, whatever, of a glober, and you would still know the anti-globers are right because they're the ones that will bother to make an argument, that will say it's so simple, it's so obvious, like, oh yeah, tell all your globe friends this, whatever. The globers are the only ones running away. You see what I'm saying? Oh, just told you, don't even be friends with them. You'll never convince them. Why will you never convince them? Because they figured it out, you fuck. Of course you can't convince someone that knows it's bullshit. Right? Is it real science or fantasy that it's feasible to build a catapult on the moon and use it as a super cheap weapon, able to hurl moon rocks at the earth? You could build it. Right? So Mr. Anything but exactly what we're taught about the spherical earth cannot possibly be true. Yep, you can have a giant catapult on the moon and use it as a weapon against Earth. Okay, awesome. Could the orbit of Earth ever be used as an energy source? We already do it indirectly. Okay. Oh, keep in mind, so if you don't know the facts, right? Like, so maybe Coach is lucky and, like, this is someone that genuinely doesn't know. They tell you the Earth is rotating 1,000 miles per hour while it is orbiting at no fucking bullshit 66,600 miles per hour. So you can believe that if you're completely brain dead. So let's see. Why is Earth considered a fragile planet? I wouldn't consider something that took billions of creatures in hindsight that seem to be actively and single-mindedly trying to destroy the planet's ecosystem a century or more to accomplish a fragile planet. I would just call it really bad renters. This planet's not going anywhere before we are. We are more fragile. Okay. If Earth is spherical, why has no one ever taken on any monetary flat Earth challenges? Because, dude, shut the fuck up. If I were transported 6,000 years into the past, then could I prove the sun is larger than the Earth and the Earth orbits around it? What kind of experiments would be used to discount existing mythologies and give mankind an accurate model? Why do we believe in Darwin? Almost all of what Darwin wrote was inaccurate according to modern science. Don't you love they give you that shit? right? So why do you fucking shove Darwin down our throats? Why does everyone know what origin of species is, right? Why is he still in all the science books? You can't fucking do that shit, right? Like, oh, hey, you have to know everything about this guy. He's the father of all our modern science. Oh, but somehow we used his work to find out everything he said was a lie, but it's still like the most useful shit we ever came across. Okay, you stupid fuck. Okay, are human beings animals? Of course we're animals. Is the Earth the cube? No. You know, ever travel to habitable planets? Given the greatest, you know what I mean? Like, dude, does this dude just stalk and just wait for anything about a sphere or Pluto, right? Like, nobody thinks space is this fucking fun and exciting unless you're just a fucking NPC loser dork. Like, nobody cares. Even people I can't get on like any type of conspiracy. They're always like, yeah, the NASA shows are fucking bozos, right? Like, let's see. How can one build a spaceship that can pass through the sun? Right, it's a bunch of bullshit. Now, so obviously low-hanging fruit, and Coach just spent way too much time on that, but it's pretty damning evidence that it's all bullshit for someone that's never really looked into it. So now we had the UFL kickoff. Okay, and Coach had picked the Birmingham Stallions to win it all. I was delighted to see they were one of the two teams picked for the opening day game, and they had an epic comeback. You know, they weren't like down big, but it was like a not last second score, but pretty close to it. Like final minute drive to go up just a couple points, and they ended up pulling it off. So the Birmingham Stallions, they got to take care of not St. Louis. Shit, I'm already getting confused. But a new team entered the league, so they got to welcome them. We'll get to them in a second. Let's start with the Stallions. So I was excited that they had John Ross, who was a Madden stud for years because he was like the fastest player in the game. They also have Justin Ross, right? Also a wide receiver, so they're not going to miss that chance to have that joke. Let's see. They've got a barber that makes Coach think of, Rondé and Tiki when we've got the Wahoos possibly doing something right after the Hoosiers. They've got Amani Bledsoe. Of course, it's like Drew Bledsoe. Deion Kane, of course, like Deion Sanders. Hudson Clark, it's like Jordan Hudson. Snoop Connor, don't know anyone named Snoop. Ryan Cooper, just kidding, of course. Snoop Connor, Snoop Dogg is a Steelers fan. Steelers are hosting the draft. Okay, Ryan Cooper Flagg was just the number one pick in the draft. Tyler Davis right before Tyrion Davis Prince. They had to put them right next to each other because you might not catch that joke because it's just a Davis. Even though literally absolutely no reason. One's a tight end. One's a running back. One's last name starts with a D and the other a P. Oh, I guess Davis. Okay, that's not his middle name. Right, so I get Davis and Davis Price. That's what it is, alphabetical. I'm retarded. Let's see. Zach Johnson, Noah Johnson, Deontay Johnson, Kobe Jones. They've got another Kobe too. Tyrese. That's our Tyrese Maxey. There's the two Rosses. LaVisca Chenault. There's a lot of guys in this league. So I think the UFL's got a pretty good model, right? So it's just a handful of teams. So you don't need a ton of good players. And there's a lot of guys who didn't crack the NFL or, couldn't stay long term, who are still like names and people want to see. Like a John Ross is perfect for this league. As soon as I was like, oh yeah, brilliant. You know what I mean? So just saying, I think they're saying, oh, there's the other Kobe. There's LaVisca Chenault. What a name, right? He went to DeSoto. So LaVisca had fumbling problems last year. Louisville Kings. I wanted to say St. Louis. That was pretty close. Louisville Kings. So Kentucky has a UFL team. And in their opening game, they have a lot of stuff to be excited for. I'm pretty sure the Birmingham Stallions had won like 3 or 4 in a row. Yeah, they 4-peated right before last year. So I hadn't factored that in when I picked them, that maybe they had used up all their shit. So I'm still going to think about it a little bit more, but they're still my favorite team for this year. DC Defenders, they did right by us last year. Coach had them winning all the way over the Panthers. We got that exact result. The Panthers is still the craziest part to me, the fact they knocked off Birmingham. Right, so Coach still pumped on that. We love the Columbia Aviators too, of course. Now looking at the Sweet 16, much better night than yesterday, right? Oh my God. I can't even explain, right? So first, Coach got the DuCon prediction correct, right? So that was Coach's big call, right? We were going to get Duke versus UConn because UConn's going to upset them. I did not watch UConn versus Michigan State, so I can't speak on it. But I did watch the Duke game, and it definitely felt like Duke already got theirs. Like that St. John's win, Shire's like fucking crying and shit, basically. Like can't even speak. He's speechless. He's so emotional. They're toast. Get them the fuck out of here. So I got UConn bouncing Duke. We got the DuCon ritual like we wanted. Trevor was wondering if they were going to do Alabama, Tennessee. We got one half of it with Tennessee, which Coach was wondering if they were going to kill off Iowa State because the other Iowa squad had already advanced, right? So Coach knew Tennessee wasn't very good. But we had a feeling they might just have them pop up and beat Iowa State just because 2 Iowa teams in the Elite Eight seems like a bit much. So that's going to be Tennessee, Michigan, okay, which feels like a full. It's not Tennessee, Bama. That still feels like, and not a rivalry, but that still feels like that's those are good, real football schools. You know what I mean? So that can still be fun. I cannot see a world where Tennessee beats Michigan. But one of those 2 teams will be in the Final Four, right? Let's look at the bracket. Okay. So Tennessee and Michigan fighting for a Final Four spot. Purdue, Arizona fighting for a Final Four spot. Iowa, Illinois fighting for a Final Four spot. UConn, Duke. Gut instinct, Duke, Iowa, Arizona, Michigan. I was the only surprise. Last year you had 4 1 seeds. This year you get 3 and a 9. So that's Coach's take there. And if it's Illinois instead, they'd be 3 1 seeds and a 3. That still kind of seems like a joke. Maybe that's a 33 thing somehow. Now, let's see. So that. Ladies always tell me, boy, you're so spectacular. Cutest 80s baby with the dopest vernacular. The way I spray these sayings and drop the mic after would make the crazies race to drop their drawers in my Jaguar. Screaming for a monster like they never seen a reptile. Haters lying, wait, they try and jack me for black tar. Phones on, they bust it up. Face screaming world star. I'm my space fan, man, I can't stand what a fag you are.